Hey, how are you?
I'm well, Ivar. How are you doing?
Everyone, this is Beebe Bahrami, right? Is that
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. You may have remember her because we did a walk last year, was it?
It was in November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the rain, and we did a video back then. And she's back because you've been walking.
Yes, I'm back. This time I've been walking April, May. Last year it was October, November.
Yeah.
And it's
How is different?
it is.
Yeah.
Boy, last year I really felt the fatigue in the people working on the Camino.
Yeah.
They were at the end of the season. A lot of places were closing earlier because
Yeah.
they were just like they were done.
Yeah.
They were so exhausted because so many more numbers are of pilgrims are
Yeah.
on the Camino.
Yeah.
And this year I started the first week of April and everyone was so fresh and rested.
Well, that's good. So you could totally notice that then.
I really noticed
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And I really found this time too. Last year I was a little concerned that people are getting too fatigued. And I think that still is an issue
Yeah.
by the time you hit October. But I really saw that there's this spirit still of the old Camino of people really want to be here. They really want to serve it. They really want to be
that's great.
helping the pilgrims.
Where did you walk this time?
This time I walked. So last year it was mostly Pyrenees to Burgos, and this time Burgos to the coast, except that I also last year walked León to Santiago.
Okay.
So this time I really focused on the Meseta. I took my time. And I hit every little village.
Yes.
And just stopped and talked to
Because you're
everyone.
updating your book as well.
I'm updating my book as well.
Let me get her book. So, hold on a second.
Sure. Wow, you're a yogi as well. Look at that. Well, yeah. You really need to go to Muxía and go under the Pedra. What is it? Yeah, the sail.
Oh.
The one that's like a potato chip inverted. That one's like if you go under it 10 times and you need good abs to do it.
Yeah.
You pull away all things that are ailing you.
Okay, I'm back. I have the book. This is her book. It's a guidebook on the Camino Frances. Maybe I know we talked probably a little bit about it in the last video, but a little bit of a refresh.
Sure.
About the book.
Sure. It's very much a practical guide to the trail and where to sleep, but it's also, in addition to a lot of other guides, it has a lot of places where to eat, and it tells you about the culinary and wine culture of each of the regions. It has a lot of folklore, history, archaeology, the history of all the churches and the archaeological sites. So it's a lot more. It's kind of like the cultural handbook merged with a practical guidebook.
Okay.
And it has a waterproof map that pulls out and you see the whole trail.
That's right in the back.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, this is more of a complete book, I feel. A little bit more heavier for those that are very weight oriented.
Though it is on
you have people on the
iBooks.
kitchen scale and they weigh everything, and it's a little bit because
And
it
they can't
has
trim the pages.
because it has more, but it has more content in it. That's why it is
Yeah.
like that, you know.
People still tell me that they buy both the electronic book and the hard copy, and they leave the hard copy with loved ones at home.
Oh yeah.
And they follow along.
Oh, because you can get
and
this
then
electronic
they have
as well.
the Kindle or the iBook on their phone.
There's a guide iBook
It
version.
is, yeah. And then they use that, and a
that's
lot
good.
of people kick back at night and they're reading like, where did I go through? And
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's underneath that church, like a pagan altar. And,
Yeah. Well,
and
that's
they,
good.
So, or they find where to eat that night. Especially, I'm a fan of the Pilgrim menu. I love them, but some people are just saying, oh, I'm getting tired of the menu, the Peregrino.
Yeah.
And it's like 100 meters off the Camino to the north, there is this restaurant where you can eat really regional, local dishes.
That's good.
And so it's a lot. It's a lot of local knowledge.
So when you walk this time, now you just finished your walk. Now you have been walking because you're updating this book. Is there a lot of updates?
There are. This is going to be the third edition, and it's the first really full, complete update since the pandemic. So that's why I've been taking my time, and it's actually been 3 different 3-month periods that I've come here in the last 2 years just to get to see how things have changed and take my time and really stop and talk to the locals and hit every village.
Yeah.
And there have been changes in some ways, really sadly, I learned that one of my favorite albergues, Initero de la Vega, the owner died 2 years ago.
Oh.
And I love that albergue. But fortunately, the new person who's taking it over still has that spirit
Oh,
of the
that's
old
good.
albergue, and it's still a
Yes.
wonderful place.
Yes.
So in some ways the changes are just there's a change whether somebody died or
Yep.
somebody just said I'm done, I'm
Yep.
going to pass this
People
on to someone
retire
else.
or
Yeah. And the biggest change really is the increase of numbers. There's just, I think people who delayed last year and delayed the year before,
Yeah.
wanted to do the Camino since the pandemic are now coming this year.
Yes.
So it's really, really a lot
How
of
did you
numbers.
feel? Now we're recording this on May 3rd.
Yes.
So you finished 2 days, 3 days ago? When did you finish?
I finished, I did the triangle
Okay.
To Finisterre
Finisterre
and
and
Murcia
Murcia.
and then Santiago.
Okay.
And
So you walked like mid-April then, I guess. Or
all of April.
April.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much all of April.
And how was it then for you?
It was actually very, very pleasant. And the places that are on the traditional stages were still getting full,
Yeah.
but not necessarily all the albergues though. So if you want a private room, they're going to be full probably.
Yeah.
But if you want a bed, you're still, I think,
Yeah.
able to find them.
I also talk to people that come into the office and I ask them, how was it? Was it busy? They said, yes. Was
Yeah.
it too busy? No, it was fine.
It was-
I don't hear
like
of
a
anyone
normal-
like sleeping on the street. Because
Yeah.
remember a few
And
years
I don't
ago,
think that's happened yet, has it?
I don't know. Sometimes I
People
hear of
still
people.
find you a barn or something.
Yes, I guess.
I-
But underneath a portal with a sleeping bag, and
yeah.
but they had the sleeping bag with them, I think, in case that something like that would happen. So the people that do that, I think they're not, they're okay with it.
Yeah.
So
And I
nothing
think
dramatic.
people should also know that it still really does work if you stop in between stages,
Yeah.
the traditional stages. There's still a lot, and a lot of people there are just going, I wish we had more pilgrims.
Yeah,
And I would really encourage people, because these little villages that are off stage are
Yeah.
also just there. You don't know it because you think you might walk through it in the afternoon and it's all sleepy.
yeah.
But when it wakes up, the
Yes.
local life is
And also, I
colorful.
think people are looking too much on booking. A lot of
Yes.
places are not on booking, and you see,
Yeah.
everything's full on booking. It's packed. No, it's not. There's a
Yeah.
lot of
And then there's a panic, and
Yeah.
that spreads through.
and
the-
then
it
you
ripples
start
through.
reserving.
Yeah.
And then I've heard to talk to people that we didn't reserve, and then we had a place where it was difficult to find, and then after that we reserve every day, no matter what.
And I don't think you have to.
No.
Yeah, famous last words, people. But what I did, I didn't do any advanced booking, and I did a few hours ahead. I sent an email. I would look up
Yeah.
a place, whether they were on booking or not. I would send an email directly to them. People can call too, but I
Yeah.
don't have an international calling, so I just did
Yeah.
the old, email.
Yeah.
And every single time, these places that booking would have listed as full, they still have rooms that or beds
Yeah.
that they're not listed on the booking. There's only a certain handful that they put up there.
Yeah.
And they all came back and they're like, yeah, I have a place, and I'll hold it for you. And it was also a honor system.
Yeah.
They didn't want my credit card, but they trusted that I would show up, or
Yeah.
I would let them know well in advance if I
Yeah.
couldn't get there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love to find that old culture is still
That's a
there
lot
of
that-
trust.
Yeah. I feel like Spaniards in general are like that in general
I
too.
think they are.
They're
Yeah.
more trusting,
Yes.
which is nice.
It
That's
is.
kind of why I love this place.
Yes.
So this year is 20 years since I moved here.
That's beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember last autumn when we were walking around Santiago and we had to go get your umbrella because
Yeah.
you'd forgotten it
That's
at
right.
the photo place, and it was still there.
Of course it was. I was sure it was there. So we went for a walk. How was it? No, I was gonna go get a picture or something from the photo store, and then I went in and I left my umbrella, and then we started walking. Oh, and then I had to go back and get it, and it was still there when I came back. Of course.
Yeah. It's still out there, and I think if people are worried that the Camino is really gone to hell.
Yeah.
Can I say that? Gone. It's still there. You still find it. I mean, the Camino has always been an experience of ups and downs.
Yeah.
And right now we have a lot of people on it, but that old spirit, that spirit of generosity, hospitality, support is there. And I also think it's really important that pilgrims know that they're a part of that culture, and they should participate in that generosity and hospitality and support, help people when they see they can use a hand.
Was it the Spanish Association that was trying to make a list of those places that was kind of catering to the old pilgrimage.
Yeah, like the donativos.
Yes.
That have now been protected, right? By some
something
Spanish
like, yes, I
patrimony
read
law.
something about that. Yeah. So that's good.
It is really good. Yeah.
Yeah. But you still felt that this time when you walked, people were less tired, more inspired, and more...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were just like saying, yeah, I recharged myself over the winter. And
that's good.
A lot of them they just said, I love this whole world. They love seeing people from other parts of the world coming through, people that they would never meet any other way. I mean, they're in a way on a perpetual pilgrimage because they're meeting new people every single day and it's never going to end.
Yes. And they're meeting people from all over the world, like you said, like in a little village in northern Spain, they would never have met someone from Taiwan if it wasn't for the Camino. You know?
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Even this time I also was meeting Ukrainians who are working on the Camino now. They're working in some of the albergues.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, our world is the world is, and its issues and its dynamics are coming through here too. And it was good to get to talk to them and see. Because they had to leave because of the war.
There's a lot of people from Ukraine and Spain living here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
Yeah.
What else? I don't know. We talked about the crowds. You said it wasn't that bad. There are waves
in the
though.
main stages.
Yeah.
Like there were still bottlenecks. Like from Sahagún to Leon, there's just I could feel things were full faster because there are fewer places there and fewer alternatives, unless you really go north or south and leave the Camino for a couple kilometers.
Yeah.
But there's those bottlenecks have always been a challenge. So it's just
that's true.
But you always find a bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even from Saria.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
If you want a private room, that's another matter.
That's true.
So, and more people, that's another change.
More people want the private room, yes.
Yeah, they're still wanting because of the pandemic, for some people, and for other people, they just don't want to.
The pandemic is really,
on others.
the coronavirus is really a non-topic. At least in Spain, people it's gone. I mean, it's not gone, but it's in our minds. Yeah. It's not a thing, I feel. People are not worried about it. Yeah. Which may be different in other countries. I'm not sure. Yeah. Where you're from the U.S., right?
I am. No, we've completely no one wants to talk about it.
No, yes. But sometimes I feel like people are putting masks on, and I'm looking. Oh. Yeah. The mask thing. Yeah.
Some people are wearing masks because of allergies. They're like, I just discovered this helps with allergies.
Exactly. And now we don't feel like we're wearing a mask because people have seen it before. Yeah.
It's kind of normalized it a bit.
Good.
Yeah. I'd be curious, like, what changes you're seeing from here in Santiago, especially from autumn to now spring. Is there a similar trend of regeneration?
Because I see the pilgrim at the end. So I see the same smiley faces. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's autumn or spring, because they are finishing and they're happy. And
are they all happy? Some of them look like they're like, what next?
Well, yeah. Well, you have the typical all kinds of ranges of feelings. Some people are happy to get finished because they're done. Yeah, they're done. I'm not doing this again. But I did it again. Exactly, I did it and I finished and I'm happy. I'm going home. Then you have those that are sad and happy. They're sad because it's done, but then they're happy because they're tired. And then you have those that just did it from Saria and it was fun, and their head is in Rome because that's where they're going to go next. They just did it and now they're going. They have those people. Yeah. And then you have, they have people that we had one gentleman in this morning. He did the Frances. I think he walked until Burgos, or Leon. And then he got injured and he took the bus, and now he's here to pick up his luggage, and he's going to just go home and come back and do it some other time. Yeah. That happens too.
Happens a lot more than people.
And some people, I have a feeling, I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that some people come in and they say they're injured, but I wonder if they're just too shy to say, it wasn't for me.
They don't want to be judged.
Yeah. So the injury is fine.
No one will judge.
So if people say they're injured, I'm not going deeper on that. You're injured, fine. You know what I mean?
I do know.
Because it's like, I haven't heard well, sometimes I hear it, but not a lot. People come in and say, no, it wasn't for me. I took the bus. I'm done. I'm picking up and I'm going home.
Yeah.
Sometimes I hear it maybe once or twice a season.
Yeah.
But that's not a lot because I meet a lot of people.
They absolutely don't worry what other people think.
No.
So they just say the truth.
Exactly.
The full truth.
Because the injury kind of helps out a little bit.
It is.
Yeah. But I wonder the percentage of real injuries. Some people, yes, coming on. I had a lady in yesterday on crutches.
Yeah.
She was obviously in pain. But
I think you're touching in on a much bigger topic of where that whole paradox of the pilgrimage is supposed to be this very all accepting place where you go deeper into yourself and with others, and there's more authenticity. But there's also this other side where we're still worried. We're worried what others will think, maybe a bit competitive. Like if I don't walk every kilometer, they're going to think I'm, not a pilgrim. Yeah. But that's not the definition of a pilgrim. It's where you change, to me, is like the question.
Because I realize for many people, this is probably something they have planned maybe for a year, for more than a year. They've been telling people at home, I'm going to do this, and they're going to be, oh, you're crazy. No, I'm going to do it. Then they go,
so you really
and then you're invested in this.
That's a really good point. You're absolutely right.
And everyone at home is like, they know that you're going. And then, and then 3 days in, you're like, injured. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm not. Shouldn't say this, but
which it could be injured, it could be the ankle hurting.
And also people come less prepared. That is true too.
Yes.
Than they used to. Because remember, 20 years ago when I started the forum, I met people, and they were people 20 years ago that walked the Camino. They had walked long distances before. It wasn't that new for them. They were more professional hikers. Of course, you had the spiritual aspect of it. But then you have the people that were really prepared. They knew the equipment. Now there's more tourists walking. People that just found out, and their body maybe hasn't been trained as well as it should. Yeah. And that could also lead to more injuries.
Absolutely. I've even met people who are really athletic. They might be like a marathon runner. I've met actually a couple of marathon runners who incurred injuries, and they themselves said, I thought I was prepared because I thought I'm fit, but I wasn't prepared for the endurance of this kind of long trek, and it's very different. Not only are you carrying things, but you really have to care for your body differently every day. And
that's true.
Yeah.
Because you hear people, you have to walk 20, 25 kilometers a day, and you think, oh, I can walk 20 kilometers, but you have to do it every day.
Every day.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're not stretching and really listening to your body, one days it might say, okay, you did 30 yesterday, and today 10 is about as far. And even if you want to keep up with your Camino family, for example, which happens a lot.
Yes.
Listen to your body.
Yep.
And
also that happens, I hear a lot when you travel with a group and you're going to walk it with someone or someone else, or a spouse or a partner, and then or some of friends, and then they have a different rhythm or speed than you, and you try to keep up, and you just you break your body.
Yeah, I'm here a lot on my own because this is for my work, but I have a wonderful spouse, and he loves to walk the Camino too. But when we get to walk together, he's absolutely, I'm walking my pace, you walk your pace, we'll find each other.
Exactly.
And it's a wonderful way. And then you also have I really love that you have that space for your own quiet. It's like a bit of a walking meditation, and I think that's important. It's good to have the social, but it's also good to have the time just to be present.
Yeah. And even on the Frances, I feel like it could still be done, right? You could still have a quiet Camino.
There were many days on the Meseta this April where I was so alone. It was to the point where I was like, I hope somebody shows up, because I'm really, it's just my head.
And I remember last year in the summer, people in before Saria, they were like, numbers are down. It was just it was not that busy on the Frances before Saria.
Yeah. Before Saria is always the...
Yeah. So... Anyway, and then I heard a lot of good things about the Invierno. We had a couple of guys in here yesterday that Camino de Invierno, they loved it. They walked the De La Plata, I think, up, and then they took the Invierno, which they loved. They walked in snow. Did you walk in snow?
I did not. No. But I am going back after here. I'm going back to the Pyrenees, and I'll be crossing again.
Okay.
And I hear that you can get snow in May.
You can get snow in May. Yeah, I mean, a week ago we had 0 degrees. It was almost freezing in the morning on the Meseta. And but I think end of next week we're gonna have 30 degrees here. So I'm thinking it's going to change there too.
There was frost on the Meseta in the mornings, and the other thing about the Meseta in April, it's before the poppies, so it wasn't that drama, but everything was green. I mean, everything, and I'd never seen the Meseta, and there'd been a lot of rain this year. The drought had been, I think it's over for now.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen the Meseta so in life, and it was amazing. And birds, a lot of migratory birds.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah.
I've just downloaded this new app on the phone, like the bird identifying app. Have you heard of this?
It.
Yes.
No, I'm going to get it.
But it's like a US Cornell University, I think, somewhere that has like a bird.
And it's a global. It's not.
Yeah,
just
you
North
download
American?
you want the American birds or the European bird, and you download it, and it's on your phone. And then when you hear a bird, you just open the app and click record, and it just listens, and
oh wow!
And it says, oh, that's this bird.
Would it scan a photo I took of a bird? Like I have a telephoto lens.
That maybe you can do that on Google, but you can't do it on. They just listen. It listens and it gives you a picture and the name of the bird. That's very nice.
Amazing times that we live in.
Exactly. Anyway, anything else before we finish? I think we've been babbling for a while now.
I think what's really important, because I think this concern among many people, both people serving the Camino and people walking the Camino or wanting to walk, is that, is the Camino changed? Is it never going to be what it was? And I think that's really, it's up to you. Yeah. I really think I encourage people, because there are more people who are walking it because they heard about it and it feels like something they want to do. I've heard a lot of people say it's on my bucket list and I want to check it off. And that's, I think it's really important for people to come here not thinking that this is just something to do and something to check off, or that this still is a pilgrimage. Yeah. And that there are many walking it as a pilgrimage, and the people who serve it are serving you as a pilgrim, not as a tourist or as a visitor. And so just to bring your own kindness and generosity, and instead, it's really nice to have comforts, but instead of wanting to seek comforts for yourself, be grateful when they come, and then help others acquire them as well. Like help each other, help the hospitaleros, help the other pilgrims. Yeah. And I think it changes everything, and it can bring in more of the magic, and it brings back the Camino of what we think of as, the old pilgrimage. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea. A good thing to think about. Great. Well, I'll put up a link to the Beebe's book, and I've just talked to her before, and I may get her other book also on the store. Wonderful, The Way of the Wild Goose. The Goose book. Yay. I just have to talk to the people that publishes it and see if we can get it in the store. That would be wonderful. All right. Thank you for stopping by, Beebe. Thank you, Ivan. All right. This has been fun. Thank you. I really liked it. Bye-bye. Ciao. Ciao.